I'd like to ask you how you thought about this idea to play the Bach with the gamba bow.
With the gamba bow.
Suite.
Well, you know, lately, the last years, and not only the last years, but also already in the 19th century, some musicologists were aware that those suites were not written for the instrument it's always played on. So you can say baroque cello, of course it's baroque cello, but we don't know in Germany exactly what cello meant at that moment. And that's the problem. That's the problem. On the other hand, if you look at pictures, you almost never see at that moment. So before 1730, 40, you never see people playing with the cello, bowing, the modern cello bowing. But all the basses are always played like that. Almost all. I think it's 95% or 96, 7, 8% of all the pictures you can find. It's always like that. You know, sometimes they take the bow here, sometimes more in the middle, sometimes, well, that's all different, but anyway, like this, almost never.
The bass, you mean also cello, not only gamba,
Well,
and maybe instrument like the cello.
In pictures, it's very difficult to determine if it's called cello or it's just a bass or a violone or, you know, the names of the bass instruments were not so really fixed, I think, at that moment.
So you decide to try to do this.
So I decided to try. I don't say it has to be like this. It's very personal. But since I play the gamba, I'm used to play like this, of course, all the time. I play the cello 50-50 gamba. But I've never played the cello with the gamba bow and in this way, gamba way, before. So this is the first.
The first, the premiere.
First, you got the premiere mondiale.
Yeah. What you discover doing this? Speaking of Bach music, did you find something?
Well, the whole thing is quite different. The articulation is less clear, maybe less sharp as with this technique, because all the fast notes we are playing at a point. Since everything is reversed, all the strong beats are in the push. So when you play fast notes, it's at the end of at the tip. The cello will be more at the other end. Yeah. So the articulation, and we never really jump. We don't do the spiccato, not really. There's a kind of articulation, but it's a bit weaker.
And what do you think are better? Comes better the slow movement or the fast movement? Or depends sometimes?
Well, you know, it's a bit early to decide. I have to try a bit more. I like better the fifth suite with the G tuning. Maybe my A string is a bit too thick for this kind of playing. But then since you tune it down to G, there's less tension.
Interesting.
Yeah.
May you tell us something about your beautiful cello? It looks
Well,
so
the cello
incredible.
is kind of a legend. There are lots of legends like Stradivari and all the others. There's not much known about this, but the legend is that Charles IX, King of France, at the second half of the 16th century, should have ordered to make 24 instruments for his capella. And this should be one of the bases. And there are violas a lot, and there are maybe 4 or 5 cellos, I know, a few violins of this collection, and it's always called the King. And this should be one of them. That's why you see the fleur de lis at the back, and also the K of Carolo in bad French Latin. But I say always it's my K of my name. And it has la devise, Pietate et Justitia. It's also
written on the...
at the sides also.
I see.
Of course, the instrument has been altered in form a lot, because it's always difficult to make instruments bigger. It's much easier to cut down, and that's what they always did, making smaller instruments out of bigger instruments. But the root of the top is dendrochronology, you know. It was done, and it's proved, well, they say, they pretend it's root from 1550. And the instrument should be made after 60, 65, or 70, something like that. But it certainly was not like it's now, at all. It was much bigger, probably. The F-holes, I don't know exactly, because you can cut down on them, you can make them bigger, make them smaller, it's difficult, you can see it. And inside you can see that it was cut down to the part here around the F-holes seems older, the inner work. And then up and down, lower and higher, you can see that there's some work done. And this is older work than the work from 1860 done in Brussels. So it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle. But I like it. It's not because it's old I like it because it sounds nice.
Sounds nice. Can you play just two notes, just to say goodbye to our friends?
Like this. Hope the strings are always in tune. That's it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.